And we're back.
Welcome.
This is the last episode of August, which is a 5-episode month. It's a lot of episodes.
That's too many. 4 is my limit.
4, I think 4 is good from like a book choice perspective, like on theme. So this week we did the Mindfuck series by St. Abby. Stabby. I just think that's like, I didn't get that until after I read.
It's like, literally on the back of the printed copy. Like,
I mean, I understand.
Like a heroine that's feeling a little St. Abby is on the bottom.
I know, but I didn't. I read this on Kindle Limited the first time.
I just want to say the cover is horrendous. Hate the cover. It's so bad.
Yeah, I did not like the, like the Kindle covers.
The Kindle covers, and then I mean the printed cop, because like
the Amazon cover is if you get the 5 books in one.
It's not bad. It's definitely not
the apple.
It's not my favorite.
I mean, it does. At least it like is accurate to the book though. Like at least it's something that's in the book. 'Cause I like that. So this is actually the Mindfuck series has 5 books, but they're all like novellas. Like they all get slightly longer as we go.
I don't know. A couple of them are really short. A couple of them are really long. Look at you updating all your.
I'm updating my Goodreads. Okay,
Goodreads
so
here.
I can probably tell you. Oops. So the books are The Risk, Sidetracked, Scarlet Angel, All the Lies, Painted All Red, and then that's the 5. I can even. Will it tell me?
Sidetracked did get really sidetracked. Sidetracked.
How many? Oh yeah, okay. So like for example, the first book is 123 pages, and then I think the second one is also really short. Yeah. So the third one is 141. Like they're all quite short, except the last book I think is the longest.
No, I thought the fourth book was the longest.
The last book is 177 pages. So it's just slightly longer. Like they're all really short books.
So because altogether it's like 500 pages.
Yeah. It's like just under 6, I think.
That being said, the printed
font
copy
is really big.
The font is really big. It could be 500 pages if they made that font.
The font is really
smaller.
big in the Amazon one that you can buy, because both of us have that copy.
Yeah.
We both have the Amazon copy, the self-published one. That's like the apple with the hands. And yeah, it's a hefty book, but the font is really big. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a long book. It just like looks long when you get it because it's so big. Okay. So St. Abby is actually C.M. Owens, and then she has another pen name.
Yeah, the one that did the 4 Horsemen series.
Oh yeah, the Apocalypse one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who that is, but so she's written under quite a few different pen names. But C.M. Owens is dead though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She died a couple years ago.
She died like recently enough where it's like she died shortly, either right after I read this book or right before I read this book. I didn't realize it until I'd read the book. I've been like, oh fuck, like she's not gonna have anything else coming out.
I love how that's your bummer thing. It was like not that like this author couldn't see the success of her
I mean, she was
series.
already really successful. She has quite a bit of a cult following.
But I don't know. I also found that
the 4 Horsemen
series...
one I didn't like.
You didn't finish it.
Yeah, I did. I finished all 4. I didn't. Okay, I don't say I didn't like it. It just wasn't my favorite. Whereas like this book, these ones I read, I devoured, and then immediately bought the Amazon, like ordered off Amazon.
I just want to know, this is a theme happening in Ayesha's life. Is I would suggest a book and a series.
Okay, we get it. You're
extremely amazing.
You're good at recommendations.
I would say that, oh, you're really gonna like this, and you should be like, oh yeah, I'll look into it, and then she'll never look into it, and then a couple like months,
She did
maybe
recommend me
years
this.
later, she'll be like, "Oh my god, this series is so good," and I'm like, "I definitely recommended that to you a while ago."
So she did recommend me this, which is how I ended up reading it. So I will give you that. Her recommendations are good.
I only read good
Congratulations,
books.
you credit.
I only read good books.
Yeah, so this one was really good. So it's 5 books. We read all 5 because they're so short. We did the series as this week's
As
book.
one, yeah.
Kind of like how we did the Sinner's Duet as one. Okay, so tropes, dark romance,
Yeah.
serial killer romance.
Yes.
I had like good boy, bad girl, because usually it's the other way around.
Oh yeah.
Secret identity,
Yes.
and then I had villain gets the guy, I guess in this case.
Yeah.
Like villain wins.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that we've missed?
I want to say Grumpy Sunshines, but I don't think I wouldn't label Logan really as a sunshine, would I?
I wouldn't either. She's definitely not a sunshine. Well, this could be a thriller or suspense.
I guess.
Yeah, contemporary. And this is on Kindle Unlimited. That's how I read this.
Yeah. I think all of
Is
her
it
books are Kindle
still
Unlimited.
on Kindle Unlimited?
Yeah, it is.
To be honest, I didn't check.
I'm pretty sure they're all like still on Kindle Unlimited.
Okay, trigger warning. So, it's graphic as fuck.
It's graphic.
There's
also
a lot of talk of rape and assault.
Yeah.
And
they're like flashback scenes, so it's like fully like
you're
like
experiencing her
yeah.
her like in her head as she's being raped. So if that is a trigger for you, basically anything rape related, do not read this book. I would say if you're worried about triggers, for sure look up the triggers in this book, because I like to use the like H.G. Carlton books as like the ultimate like dark romance that I've read, because the cat and mouse duet, the second one, is like fucked.
Yeah, I haven't finished the first one.
The second book is fucked up.
I'm listening
and
to
it was
the
like
audiobook.
actually kind of hard to get through. This book isn't quite there because there's a lot of like levity in the like conversations. It's like quite a funny book. Like I would say that the conversations are quite funny.
I mean, Lana is funny.
Yeah,
her inner
Lana
monologue is
funny.
hilarious.
And like you get Logan. I would say it's like what, 1 for 1 in POV. Like you get both POVs. Maybe a little more Lana, like 60-40.
Yeah.
And then you get the occasional like Hanley and Jake. What's her name? I think it's Hanley. I don't have my book with me.
I don't remember if there's an N in it.
Haley?
No, it can't be Haley.
It's not Haley. There's definitely an N in it.
Henley. I feel like it's Henley. Do you want me to grab my copy?
But I thought it had an A. It was like a hey. I don't know. Okay.
Do you want me to
Anyway,
grab
you
my
guys get the
copy?
gist. But you get a couple other POVs, but you mainly get Lana and Logan.
When do you
Honestly,
get Jake?
You get him.
I'm like, when do you get Jake? Not like I just finished the entire series.
Yeah, you do get him once, and then you get what's her face twice, I think.
No, you only get her after the boogeyman.
Oh, you got her again. Okay, so yeah, it is like I would say if you get anything from this beginning part of this episode is look up the trigger warnings, because there are a lot, and like I don't think we did the trigger warnings justice, so please look them up if you are concerned.
Yeah.
But this is a good book. So it's hard to give you guys a good Goodreads score, because if you look on Goodreads you can see all 5 books separately, but you can also see like the 1 to 5. So I'm going to give you the Goodreads score for the 1 to 5, like the whole series book, because that's when we reread. So it's a 4.64 on Goodreads and has 27,000 ratings. But mind you, like the first book alone is a 4.27 with 143,000 ratings. So I don't think that like I would say that the 4.3 or 4.64 is accurate for like the whole series, like an average.
Correct.
But there are a lot of ratings on this book. Like a lot of people have read this series. I would say like of all of the Christy Cunnings, that's the other name that C.M. Owens goes under. That's who wrote the Apocalypse series, the Four Horsemen one.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that this is probably her most popular and most talked about book. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes.
Like this book has the most cult following of all
at
of the
least
books that she's written.
on like Book Talk and
Facebook groups. Like this is the book that comes up all the time. To be fair though, dark romance typically has like a very specific cult following, and like good books get picked up really quickly by other dark romance readers. So that could also be it. So main characters. Oh wait, I'll read you guys the back of the book. They took too long, left too little. I had nothing to lose until him. I didn't expect him. I didn't want to fall in love, but I can't let him go. Logan Bennett makes the world a safer place. He's brilliant. He's a hero. He locks away the sick and depraved. But while he's saving lives, I'm taking them, collecting the debts that are owed to me. 10 years ago, they took from me. They left me for dead. They should have made sure I stayed dead. Now I'm taking from them, one name at a time. I've trained for too long. I've been patient. I can't stop now. Revenge is best served cold. They never see me coming until I paint their walls red. Logan doesn't know how they hurt me. He doesn't know but the screams they ignored. He doesn't know how twisted that town really is. He just knows people are dying. He doesn't know he's in love with their killer. No one suspects a dead girl. And Logan doesn't suspect the girl in his bed. They're looking for a monster, not a girl who loves red, not a girl in love. I'm a faceless nightmare. At least until I tell them the story they've pretended never happened. But in the end, will Logan choose them, or will we watch them burn together? Okay, so I would say that's pretty accurate of a back of a book. I mean, it is
I don't
really
believe
long.
any back of the books are that accurate, and that's just my opinion.
I wish I knew who wrote the back of books. Like, does the
I
author
think
write those, or does the
if
publisher?
it's like self-published, then it's the author. But if I think it's the publisher.
I mean, this is self-published.
So she probably wrote the back of the book.
I mean, like, it is accurate. It doesn't really tell you a ton besides that she's, like, kind of a killer and that he's not a killer. This doesn't tell you the fact that he's an FBI agent.
Yeah. I do wish they kind of kept the, like, fact that she was this, like, a serial killer, like, just a touch longer. Like, because you know how,
What do you mean? Like from the audience or from him?
From the audience.
Okay.
Like, I feel like it should have been, like, a lead up at least until the end of the first book. And then it's revealed
and you
because
find out that
it's
she's
like
a killer.
it's literally like the first chapter they meet.
Yeah.
And then he goes off and he goes to work.
This fucking FBI
and
thing.
he talks about this like, oh, like her victims because she doesn't have a name yet. Like her serial killer doesn't have a name yet.
The unsub.
The unsub. Oh my god, the amount of times they said unsub.
I know.
I was like, guys, this is not an episode of Criminal Minds.
And then but it is. But it is.
It is.
But it's an episode of Criminal Minds.
Like,
he's literally a profiler.
He would just say
This
unsub.
is Criminal Minds fanfic.
No, he would just say
100%.
unsub, and it's just like, and then he had to explain what unsub was, or like to her, she was like unsub, and he's like, oh, unidentified subject, and you're just like, buddy, shut the fuck up.
I mean, she did have to play dumb though.
She did. I mean,
This is honestly, now that you've said that, this is like literally a Criminal Minds fanfic, like 100%. Literally, the team of Criminal, like that is them. Who is Logan? He's got to be either.
He's got to be what's the guy from SWAT?
Yeah.
The cool one.
The cool one. The only really attractive
it
one.
couldn't be. It couldn't be. Couldn't be Spencer.
Isn't his name like Shamar or something? I can't remember what his fucking name is.
That's the actor's name. What's his name? Morgan. In the show.
No, I don't think it's Morgan.
As someone,
maybe it is
this
Morgan.
is just a sidetrack. I used to watch so much Criminal Minds because they used to do on FX. They used to do marathons at night.
Yes.
So I used to in high school and going into university, I would get home, I'd eat dinner, and then mom would go up to bed, and I would sit there and I'd watch.
I used to come home from work and you'd just be
episodes.
sitting watching
And
Criminal
eating
Minds.
popcorn.
And it was, I eventually would have to leave because I'd be like, I can't sleep if I watch any more of these.
No, it got to the point that I started having nightmares, and I was like, okay, I gotta stop. And then it was also like I did that because I like to hyperfixate on shows. Well, I used to like to hyperfixate shows, and then I went to Mythbusters, and then I had weird dreams about the people from Mythbusters, and then I was like, yeah, I gotta stop that.
I mean, this is definitely a fanfic for Criminal Minds for sure. This was a good book, but yeah, I would definitely say this is.
It is a fanfic.
There's even the same amount of females and men on the team.
Yeah.
Except that he's the lead.
Correct.
Logan Bennett. That's a good name.
I also found, at least in the earlier, like the earlier section of the series, the first couple books, he definitely did not have much of a personality. Like, he was like a blank slate in order to bounce her off of.
And then, yeah, you definitely...
And then when he started, like, getting invested in all these cases, obviously a little bit more, it,
yeah.
like, started coming out. In particular, when, like, the Boogeyman case got too
then
tight.
you got to know him as a character way better than, like, a reflection of her.
But, yeah, it was basically, like, he was, like, very boring. Very basic.
He's blonde, too, isn't he?
He's
I
blonde,
just fucking
blue-eyed.
picture him in my head with, like, a nice suit on, but not too nice. And his fucking FBI badge. And he's, like, kind of cocky, but not too cocky. Yeah, I picture this. Like, I picture this guy in my head. Yeah, Logan Bennett, FBI agent. He's a profiler.
Yeah.
And he is the supervisor of, like, a homicide team.
The thing is, though, I don't know if actual profilers are that invested in cases.
This is why I was like, this is literally a fucking fanfic for...
Because I'm pretty sure they
Minds.
come in, they give, like, they see all the evidence, they, like, kind of, they're with the case for a little bit, and they give the profile, and then they kind of, like, I think at least, like, obviously someone who works in the FBI can, like, tell us this, but I think they, like, leave once the profile's given.
I don't know.
Unless it, like, keeps going, and then they have to come back and they have to update the profile. But I don't think they're, like...
No.
They're, like, chasing them down. They're arresting officer. No, like, they're there to give a profile and then
or there's,
an
like,
assist.
in a team, they have one or two profiles per team. Because that's the way this was done, was that they had, like, 2 profiles per team. It was Logan and Leonard were the 2 profilers in this team.
No, because Lisa was a profiler.
Oh yeah, she was a profile, but she was like not involved in the actual profile itself. But those two were. But yeah, and then Lana Myers.
Mm-hmm. Lana, you call her Lana? I call her Lana.
Oh no, in my head it was always I don't know.
I always call her Lana.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, Lana sounds better than Lana.
Yeah, Lana has no ring to it. I call her Lana.
Okay, Lana it is.
Anyway.
She's 26, he's 29.
Yeah.
It's a good, like, age difference.
Mm-hmm.
Although 29 seems really young.
To be a supervisor?
Yeah.
If he got recruited in...
Early college is what they said. That they recruited him, like, in his first or second year of college.
So he would have been 20 when he joined the FBI. Don't you need a degree to join the FBI?
I mean, I think that he was doing, like, they'd recruited him, and he was supposed to finish his degree and go right to Quantico.
I'm confused how the American
I
justice
don't know.
system
I don't know
works.
anything about FBI. Just what I saw in Criminal Minds.
There's a side note. Did you know they want to make the RCMP kind of like the FBI now?
I did not know that.
Because more small towns or like cities are like getting
City
their own police force. So then the RCMP are just going to become like kind of obsolete in
Big
town
cities.
like policing. So then they would like...
Don't we have a CIS version?
I have no idea.
Or CIA, sorry. We have a version of
CIA?
the CIA, but it's not called the CIA, but we have a version of it.
A secret, like
Yeah.
a spy network? I'm joking.
CIAs aren't spies. They just work. They're just international. Anyway. Sidetrack. So basically this book follows the two of them. The meet cute is good because
It is.
there's that moment later on where they're like, how did they meet? Like, how is it possible they crossed paths? Like, did she insert herself into the investigation?
Yeah, he was like, there's no, like,
but he pursued her.
yeah. She didn't want anything to do with him.
And he pursued her at this like random little coffee shop. They happen to stop by, and there's this idea of like coincidence and like, is it really a coincidence or was this meant to happen? Because basically they assume that she's like gonna go on a psychotic break at some point.
Well, they also got the profile relatively, in particular for the Scarlet Slayer, they got the profile relatively wrong. And that was that was directly because they wanted it to be direct. Like Lana and Jake wanted it to be wrong.
Yeah, because they were like profiled as like a man.
Yeah, because she would wear
sadist.
Yeah, a sexual sadist, impotent.
Yeah,
because
but really she's a revenge killer with psychopathic tendencies. Because a psychopath and a sociopath are different, which they also explain in this book because we talked about that.
Where do they explain that?
They explained it in the end of the book when they're talking about Kyle. Because a sociopath can't, like, they're not emotional. They can't fake emotions. A psychopath can fake emotions.
Okay. So psychopaths are just better actors.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can also be, like, so she has psychopathic tendencies.
Yeah, because she lacks empathy in some parts.
Yes. So she basically is like, I kind of don't want to spoil what actually happened to them in the town because I feel like that, like, the best part when I read this for the first time was figuring out what the fuck happened. Because you get the flashbacks before you actually find out what happened.
Yeah.
And I kind of don't want to spoil it for our listeners because, like, that's the best part. But basically, the town is fucked. It's
a small town run by the sheriff. He owns literally everything in this town.
The TV station thing, I was like, this is fucking culty.
It's
like,
very
this is
culty.
Cult. Even the FBI get there and they're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. No, it's like even when they were like going to the town to ask him, they're like, oh, did anyone leave the town that kind of fit this? And they were like, yeah, they own the radio station. They own all the TVs. They own all the shops. Like everything. This one guy in the county. Yeah, he owns everything in this county.
Yeah. It just seems so fucked.
Yeah, when I love the part when they're like, it's like her and Henley are driving in for the first time. And she's like kind of like describing the town to Henley and like what the people are like. And she's like, sheep follow sheep. Bah fucking bah. Yeah. And I was like, yeah.
And then I love how the analogy continued and she was like, there's a new shepherd in town, guys. Yeah, it was good. I also like, they were so fucking committed to the plot. Like, Jake was in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and he taught he basically like taught himself how not to use his legs.
Yes.
While he was in the chair, because when Logan shows up to interview him, he was looking for signs of like Jake was faking it and he wasn't doing any of the things that like indicated that he could walk or he could feel his legs. And I was like, that's a lot of commitment.
That's a lot of fun. The whole house was outfitted for a wheelchair.
Okay, this is a question. I was trying to think of like, I'm trying to think back, but I don't think they'd explain this. Of like, so they talk about these letters that the brother made for Lana and Jake, or like last wishes, like kind of thing. Where the fuck did he give those? Because he died basically once they got to the hospital.
I think
I was like, when did he have time?
I think he wrote them when they got there and they admitted Lana.
Okay.
And that he left them with like the hospital, because the hospital also was where their mom worked.
Yeah.
Which is why they drove all the way there.
Yeah.
Even though there was still a cover up happening, because They labeled it
a
car accident.
No, they also like came in when they came in. They were like, "What happened?" And they were like, "Car accident." Like they didn't.
Yeah, that's
they didn't
true.
admit that. They didn't admit what's happening because obviously, if they admitted it, then the police and the FBI would then be involved and like come straight to the hospital.
And nothing was going to happen.
So if they just said car accident, they were like,
because they're too afraid. Because obviously they're too afraid. Like it was fucked up. Yeah, that was like super fucked and like very graphic. Although when I read this the first time, I did not figure out that the dad did it, was the original killer.
mm-hmm.
That Jake's dad was the original killer.
I kind of
until Logan did. Like when he started to figure it out, I was like, oh, fuck.
I kind of got a little bit of an inkling when Logan goes to visit the dad and starts asking questions, because then he starts pointing things out that I'm like, that's a little suspicious.
Because
even like when he had the fucking video and it was just Lana's mom, and I was like, that's fucking weird. It's just, is that just me?
I only like when I read it for the first time, like, I mean, obviously the second time I read it, I already knew what was going to happen, but the first time I read it, it didn't stop me until after I read that, like, until they figured it out, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because they killed him the long way, basically.
Yeah. And they also gave it to Olivia to do.
Yeah.
Because they mention Olivia every once in a while. But
then, and Olivia's where they sent that cop's wife and daughter.
Yeah.
That she saves.
I kind of do wish they, like, delved into that side planning a little bit. Because you hear, like, little bits of, like, oh, Olivia, and then he brings up his dad a little bit, but there's no, like...
Oh, yeah, because he's like, oh, Olivia called, my dad's going to take his meds.
Yeah, but there's, like...
I gotta go.
I wish they, like, talked about even just, like, Olivia in general of, like... Because, like, Logan at the end is monologuing, and he's, like, Olivia, who's this, like... has a doctorate in microbiology.
And was working for, like, a company that does... that works on like synthetic parasites. Yeah, and I was like, that's great. It's just I really wish we got little like hints throughout the book. You weren't supposed to.
I mean, but I wish it was just like, because there was no like aha, like I finally got that side plot. I finally got that little
like
the little sprinkles of
the
Easter
readers
eggs.
Find out before they do. But
instead it was just like, here's the twist.
But I think that's part of what the author was trying to do. Like, I think that we were supposed to know, like, kind of like how Logan didn't realize that she was Victoria Evans and not whatever the other girl's name is. We were supposed to know. Like, we were
supposed to know because he
was wrong. But we weren't. We were supposed, like, the whole point is it was supposed to be a surprise that it was Jake's dad. Like, we weren't supposed to know. Like, we were also supposed to be just as surprised. Like, I think the author wanted us to be just as surprised as Logan.
I just wish there were little Easter eggs throughout that, like,
I mean, there are.
When it was,
they're super subtle.
They're so minuscule that you're just like, that's not an Easter egg.
They're only
I want
Easter eggs.
I want Taylor Swift Easter eggs here. I want some sneaky shit that, like, you look back and you're like, fuck. This has been hinted at the entire fucking time, and it was right in front of our fucking faces. No, it was like
kind of did, but yeah, not really. Like,
it
was very minimal. But I think that it's supposed to be such a big twist, though, because the first time I read this, I was like, oh fuck.
I don't know. I just wish there's more build up, because it was like, oh, that's a twist. Oh, that's fucked. But like, I really wish it was kind of like a, that's what all this meant. Because you were getting the hints
throughout the whole book. Yeah, I can see see what you mean, but like I think the author purposely didn't want us to know until the last second. Okay, let's do favorite part and least favorite part. What was your favorite part? Let's go with favorite parts first.
I think my favorite part was when, like,
I have two. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one is when she fucking is fighting the boogeyman, and she's just monologuing like the whole time. She's like monologuing out loud to this guy because she's like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. It's not even gonna matter, and doesn't realize that what's her face, like Hanley is in the closet, like listening to the monologue, and she's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like that was good. My other favorite part is when she spits gum in Lisa's hair, and they're like, and Hanley's like, girl, don't do that. Like, that's stop. And she's like, could have killed her, but I didn't. Like,
I think my favorite part is when Lana just like, this was like towards the end. So this is the last 2 books, is when Lana just started like, her like personality hit like a 10. Like, because of the first couple books, it's kind of like, she's definitely like in a mask. Like, and then once Henley figures it out and you start seeing Jake a bit more, her personality just like skyrockets because she's just like, I'm fucking crazy.
Like, yeah, like you can see that like she is 100% who she is, rather than with Jake or with Logan, she's like a muted version of it because he doesn't know she's a killer yet. So she's like all the best parts of herself, but not all of herself until you start to see her with like Jake and like Hanley or whatever her name is, where she's like, yeah, I'm a little psycho.
Yeah. She's like, all these people can just die.
Where she sends the flowers to Lisa.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it's like, that is so mean.
And she's like, well, I could have peed on them.
Yeah, she's like, I could have killed her.
Also, she was like, she didn't get the joke.
Just a psychological
She didn't fucking get the joke. It's too fucking late she got the joke. And then it wasn't funny anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, those like, Lana was funny. She was funny. She was like, and like, she was just enough funny and just enough psycho that you still really liked her.
Yeah.
Because she was still human enough that she wasn't like a complete like weirdo, basically. Like a complete like villain. Also like fucking villain, the villain origin story. Like I honestly do not see how you can get like, this is the villain origin story. Like literally. Like I have not read another book where the villain can top this origin story.
I mean, it's kind of a traumatic origin story.
Yeah. It's very like Angel of Death-y. Like come back to seek justice. Like kind of like Marrow and What's Her Face and Marrow. Similar, but like way more traumatic.
Her name also started with an H, didn't it?
Carrie.
Oh, fuck. I don't know why.
I don't know.
I think she started with an H.
Okay, what's your favorite part?
I said my favorite part. When Lana's personality.
Oh, comes out. Yeah. Okay. What's your least favorite part?
I mean,
do you want me to go first?
When Logan like found out, and instead of like found out, well, in particular when she was like, he's like, she was the revenge killer.
Oh, when he like handcuffs her to the bed, fucks her, and leaves,
and like just leaves, and then he like storms around being like, why didn't you fucking tell me?
My
what the fuck is this?
killer.
And you're just like, buddy, like,
he doesn't bother to ask any questions. He just like jumps to conclusions and is just an asshole about it.
Yeah.
Okay, my least favorite part is the ending. Where he just like is leaves. Suddenly okay with his girlfriend being a murderer, and that then he starts to supply her with guys to murder once a year because she's still a psycho.
She's still kind of
and if you don't tamp down the urges, then she'll go full psycho. So we just gotta let her kill one guy a year. I was like,
I mean,
what?
I like that.
I just was like,
I do wish it was a bit more of like an arch into, or like a gradual into of like him being like, you know what, like, because like Leonard did this. Leonard was like fully like
this guy
at the point at the end when they started to figure out who she was.
Leonard is the one.
Leonard's like 100%. He's like, this she's doing justice here, and I don't think it's right that we want to bring her into jail. I understand that she's like a psychopath and she's killing people, but also like,
See, but the
is
thing
she really wrong?
The thing is that at first Leonard starts to view it as like, I understand the motives, and her motives are enough for me to question, am I really on the right side of the law here when the law fucked her over?
Mm-hmm.
And then he realizes, he figures out it's Lana before
No, he doesn't.
Logan does.
Well, he figures out Lana is like the killer, but he doesn't
Yes.
figure out who Lana is within the story until Logan figures it out.
But then when Logan tells him and Logan's pissed, Leonard is like, dude, like, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it because I think that she's in the right. Like, he tells a story
Yeah.
about the friend,
his
the sister's
friend.
friend.
Yeah.
That's actually really good. It's like the devil you know versus the devil you don't. Like, would you rather have, like, it's like two sides of the same coin. Like, they're both evil, but wouldn't you want the lesser of the two evils?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's a good, like, it was a good way to describe it. And then Logan's, like, conflicted. But, like, Leonard figures it out way sooner and is like, bro, you fucked up. Like, honestly, I don't want to catch her.
Yeah.
And then, what's her face? Like, Hanley is like, I'm on her side.
Yeah, she was like 100%. She
Like,
was
straight
like,
up, like, I'm on her side.
Yeah, she was like, you have to figure out whose side you're on because I'm on her side.
I did like the little side plot where she goes off road and kills the stepdad.
Yeah.
Like, kills Hanley's stepdad and saves that little girl. Because sometimes I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't really help the plot. But I liked it.
I like that. I thought the boogeyman went a little too long. Because that was like one of the
Yeah.
entire books was the boogeyman. And I was like,
Would you have felt differently if you stumbled across the series before they were all out, though? So if you had stumbled across the series before all the books were out, would you feel differently versus here you have the retrospect of reading the whole series at once, then being like, I could have done without, versus like
but I
getting to the end of
feel
the Boogeyman
like
book.
if they did with the boogeyman, it just kind of felt like it was like the series would be longer.
Because the purpose of that book was to reveal her as a serial killer to Henley.
Yeah.
So, like, you could picture yourself, if you were to read these individually and not have access to the next book, you can picture you getting to the end of that book, realizing, oh, fuck, this now FBI agent who's already suspicious of her knows what's going to happen next. Versus, like, as a whole, it seems long. But if you were following along and reading book for book when they were being released, it probably had a way bigger impact.
I still just think it was a little too long.
Because, like, I mean, like, I don't say I don't agree. I just see the purpose of it when you're releasing them one by one versus, like, having them all
But, like,
released
how
at
far
once.
apart were all the releases?
I can look for you. What book was that? Book 2?
I thought book 3 is when she finally, like, kills him. And then the beginning of book 4 is, like, when Henley... We keep calling her fucking different names. Henley's on her side is the beginning of book 4. Is because the beginning of book 4, they're at the hotel.
Okay, so the second book is 2016. They're both 2016, but I bet you we can find out the month. December 2016 is book 2. Oh, that doesn't make sense.
Are you sure she just didn't release them all at once?
Maybe she did. Or Goodreads is wrong. So it looks like they were all released about a week apart.
So your argument is null now.
I mean, that's still a week.
It's still null. Your argument doesn't exist.
Okay. I'm just saying the impact was better.
I
did also like the cat that she named it Bennett. I thought that was funny at the end when he's like, not sure how I feel about the
I wish
fact
they
that
had the cat longer than, like, because I think they said it was like a week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
something like that.
I wish
Not
they had the
that
cat
very
a
long.
little bit. Like once they got to Grace, they found this cat like instantly. Not like
Oh no, they just right because it was still missing patches of hair.
yeah.
I also wish that we got a little more of Jake and
Yeah, their relationship kind of just like,
it sparked right at the end, and then
and then they were like insta love. They're like, oh my god, they're so cool, and I was like, okay.
I did like how she walks in on them and is like, "What the fuck is happening?"
And then she's like, I thought you were gay.
and she's like, both of them.
Well,
And-
look, she knew Jake was bi, but she was like, because Logan told her that Hanley was like preferred women.
Yeah.
So she was like, I thought you were gay.
Like, well, I prefer women because
Or
I just can't trust men.
Preferred women. And then she met Jake, and Jake was just so cool.
It was very like I did like how she walked in on them. And then there's that moment when Logan is like, "Wait a second, there's only 2 bedrooms in this house. Where did she sleep?" And then he like realizes that they slept together, and he's like,
And then Lana was just like,
don't
yeah.
want to know.
Yeah, we're just going to ignore that.
Because like they basically treat each other like brother and sister. Like both relationships are brother and sister. Like Jake and Lana, and
Yeah.
then Logan and Hanley are like brother and sister relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I do think that was a cute side plot.
Yeah, I wish it was like, there was little hints throughout the 4th book, because the 5th book they were, that's when they got together. I wish it
Yeah.
was like the 4th book when she told Jake, she like full on told Jake like, Hanley like knows about me, and I told
I
her
wish
the
that
whole
I did wish it
story.
would happen sooner, so that like they didn't just like,
It wasn't just like an
because they
instant.
met what, like a week, 2 weeks maybe before the finale,
No, it was like a week. It was
And
like a couple
then-
days.
maybe still like a week max,
Yeah.
and then she blows up her career.
I mean,
for them to
she
escape.
she was like, she technically was forced into that job, so I don't think she was really committed to it.
Still, I did like how her signal that she was still alive was to just kill the last guy that like they were supposed to come
But then
back
she was
for.
like, yeah, and then it just took too long for them to fucking
Yeah, it took like
find
months,
it.
didn't it?
Yeah, it took him like, because he was on leave for like 3
3 months. He was on leave for 3 months, and then it took him another month or 2 to find her. Post that, like post him leaving and then like disappearing to like actually find them, and was like took another month.
Yeah.
So like, but I love how his signal to her was like, I'm gonna shoot this guy to fucking like empty my clip into his dick. That was unexpected. I wasn't expecting him to do that.
He fully cracked though at the end. He was like,
Oh yeah, he like
I
lost.
I gotta tell my girl that I love her, so I gotta fucking kill this guy.
Yeah, and maybe that was supposed to make the whole like, now I find bad men for her to kill. Like maybe that was
I
supposed to make
100%
that
believe
better.
Leonard would just like send them.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Because Leonard you get the most from of his team.
Except for at the very beginning, it was another one of his
It was
teammates. Craig. Yeah. No, it was like Craig, because Craig was kind of there at the end, but it was Donnie.
Yeah, who's
But he was kind of like the two of them, and then suddenly it was like Leonard was with him.
because
And I was
Leonard's
like,
the other profiler.
like, you gotta commit to it. But anyway.
Because the way I see it is like the profilers are paired with someone who's not a profiler.
But then Leonard and
Because
Logan
Elise
got paired.
and Lisa were always paired together. Leonard was always paired with Hanley, and then Donnie was paired with him, and then Craig was the floater because Craig was technically the media guy.
All right.
In my head, that's how I had worked it out. Whether that's actually the truth or not, I don't know. Okay.
Just a picky nit, just a cinema sin that I see. Lana had a little bit of pick me girl energy at some parts that I was just like, Lana,
like when?
like in particular when it came to the Lisa stuff, where it was like she was like, well, I'm not like that, and I'm like, what? Like what? Well, like get your fucking pick me girl out of here.
I mean,
Lana.
to be fair, at one point Lisa was sitting on his hospital bed caressing his face. So I mean,
yes and no.
like
bitch gonna lose her hand.
There were some little like comments, and I was like, it's a little too much pick me girl energy for me right now.
But then again, the whole point is that she's like,
she's not like other girls. She's a serial killer.
I mean, yes.
I'm not like other girls. I'm not like Lisa. I'm a serial killer instead.
That's true. There was very like, I'm not like her energy. Yeah. I mean,
it like creeped in just a little bit in like some sections a little too much, because like I understand like she's psychopathic tendencies, so I understand her being like, I don't relate to Lisa in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But her being like, I'm not like other girls because I'm like this, and it's just like,
what I did like
too much pick me girl
is the fact that yes, that she has, like in this case she doesn't have a lot of female friends, but then Henley becomes a female friend. Mm-hmm. But she does have a friend though. She has Jake, and like it's not like she's like she has someone to be their sounding board who's like, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
And like sometimes like that's surprisingly really rare in books, to have like the main character have a friend that they can confide in, that they actually do. Like oftentimes it doesn't actually happen. But okay, so then I mean we both know what our ratings are.
5s.
Yeah.
5s across the board.
Like I gave, I think, every single one of these books a 5. So like we'll from a series perspective, you give the series a 5 out of 5.
Yeah,
same. So that's not unsurprising. Would you reread this?
I mean, I've reread it multiple times. I literally own
it too.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, the copy, like the big copy, is very fucking hard to hold.
She's hard to hold.
It's
the font is a little. It's too big. I
don't mind the font.
Ayesha can contest to this. I love really small font.
Yes, you do love.
I read
oddly small.
I read in the smallest size the Kindle can allow me to.
I do not do that.
And I just found the font was a little bit too much large print editions, and
it's kind of like you have the Bargainer series, the Amazon one,
they're
and
so
the font
tiny.
is so
the font is so tiny
small.
in that book. Yeah,
so small. I opened it when you got it, and I was like, "How is anyone supposed to read this?"
A magnifying glass for you.
Apparently, yeah. The font is really big in this book, but it's a good book. We both own this book. I've reread it now. It's good. Mm-hmm. Like this is if you're a dark romance person, this is okay. Like
I wouldn't consider it like dark. It's probably the same level as the Sinner's Duet. It's just
better written.
I don't want to shit on Sophie Lark because I like Sophie Lark's books.
I do too.
But I think just like
the plot
overall
was better.
Well executed.
Yeah,
because you got the things you wanted out of like the story.
Because I agree.
Because like
right. I wouldn't say
because when you like pitch it, you're just like, oh, this is about a serial killer who's dating the FBI agent, and you're just like, this is exactly what you wanted out of the story when you pitch that. But like in the Sinner's Duet, you pitch it like this is like a serial killer who is stalking
this girl.
And they fall in love, and you're just like,
and you expect him to be like stalkerish and serial killery the whole time, but then he just like changes his ways.
He just goes soft in the end.
Yeah, it is very strange.
Where it's like the complete opposite, because like Logan goes
and
full serial killer tilts, and they become a little duo.
Where
and then in the Sinner's Duet, they like she reforms him, and I'm like, I don't want to reform serial killer from reading about a serial killer. I want them to be fucking murderers together.
Yeah, kind of like Marrow.
Yeah.
Like this book, I would put on par with Marrow in a different way. Because in this book, you have the like bad girl, good boy. And the like, is he going to pick the villain? Or is he going to stay on the right side of the law?
Yeah.
And whereas in Marrow, they're both serial killers. But I would say it's on par for like, you get what you came for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you show up, you get what you came for, and you leave satisfied. Versus, like, yeah, the Sinner's Duet, not that I take
like,
back. It's not that it wasn't well written. It's just, like, not what you came for.
Yeah.
Like, the ending is soft rather than,
I mean, some people really love the Sinner's Duet, and all the power to you. When you give me a serial killer's romance, I want
serial killers.
I want fucking serial killers. I want them to murder together. I want them to fuck in a pile of blood.
True. Yeah, honestly, yeah. Like, Marrow still fucking peaks that, because even this ending is a little soft.
Yeah.
but more believable than the Sinner's Duet soft. Whereas Marrow is, like, exactly what you fucking wanted. Like, if I had to compare this book over Marrow, I think I might take Marrow.
I don't know. They're kind of. I mean,
They're similar but very different.
it holds a special place in.
It's also fucking funny. This book is funny.
It's funny. I mean, Meryl was pretty funny when she's throwing body parts around.
Yeah, that was
you
a
didn't
good
get Lana
part.
throwing body parts.
No, they're.
I feel like if you combined both of those together, it would be like so fucking good.
Yeah, like okay, of this month, if we had to pick a book to read, I don't think I'd be able to pick one. I think Mindfuck. We had hits this month. Of the 5 books, Mindfuck hit, and Ruthless People hit.
Yep.
Marrow hit.
I just want to know that this was my suggestion for a month. And
Those books
Ayesha,
or this theme.
this theme, and
I'm pretty sure
I suggested Murderous Women because I was like, you need to read Marrow. And then you were like, oh, what theme should we do? And I was like, what about Murderous Women?
To be fair though, we should have picked this in November rather than August because it felt a little weird to be reading about murderers when it's like sunny
but we
outside.
didn't have an idea for August. So
Um,
next year.
Yeah, I would say because Charming the Devil, Marrow, what was the other one? Oh, Cupid Psycho. Like of the 5 books, like
We had
3 of them
hits, yeah.
were 5s. Like they hit. So like I would say that like yeah, this was a hit. Okay, so would you recommend this?
Yeah, I recommend
Obviously,
it to you.
we would recommend this. And I mean, also on the condom watch, like they do use condoms. Basically until she's like, yeah, I can't have kids, and he's like, fuck it. That's literally what happens. Although there is no talk of like, maybe we could have STIs, but
also Lana doesn't
date
in general.
I mean, not that he does either. I mean, he's married at the job. Okay, Steam.
They start
They
fucking real
they
early.
do start having sex early, but they're not that in depth. Like they're pretty quick scenes. It's like
they're definitely not
his
like
head's between her legs.
it's
It's good. We were having sex.
It's
now.
definitely not Marrow level sex scenes. It's
No.
not like they're fucking in a pool of blood.
And
She drugs herself so he can fuck a dead body or a sleeping body.
There's also no like you don't hear about the caressing and the like. Yeah, there's no details.
Yeah.
I would give this a 2.5.
Yeah, like a 2.5.
I'd probably give this a 2.5. Like you could probably argue 3, but I would.
But
I
that's
would safely
also
give
like.
this a 2.5.
Are we counting it like per book? Or are we counting it?
No, as a series. As a series, I would give this a 2.5 because some of the books are good, but some of the books are really plot heavy. So if you think about the plot heavy books, then I would say as a whole, this is a 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any last words?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so then what's your current read?
I mean, besides the books that we were reading for this podcast, I just finished Fourth Wing.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did tell me that I should read it.
It is
Did it live up to the hype?
100% lived up to the
'Cause
hype. Because
sometimes-
I'm very skeptical about books on Book Talk because most times
Sometimes
they
just
do.
marketed really well.
Yeah, most of the time they do let me down because like all these people will go on and be like, "Oh, this is so steamy. Oh, this is so good. Oh my god, this is exactly what I wanted." And I'll read it and I'll be like, "Oh, this is like basic." Or something like that. Like they hyped it up a little too much. My bar was too high. But
Because
like
I feel like the only other Book Talk book that has been hyped up that I read that was good was It Happened One Summer was hyped correctly. I haven't read a lot of Book Talk books to be honest. Okay, so worth the hype.
it is worth the hype. It's so fucking good. I literally like as someone who does not like hard copy books, I needed to buy this book instantly after I finished it. And I
hardcover
in a hard copy. It doesn't even have the fucking dragons on the spine. That's what because I wanted it
like
so bad. The first edition.
edges.
Yeah.
The first, like, I was like, I got it. I have to own this book. It needs to be on my shelf. And then I pre-ordered the second book. It's so good. Like,
I haven't read it yet. Okay.
it's so good.
You heard it here. Worth the hype. I'm reading our next book for the podcast right now. I guess we could announce it. Doesn't really matter. Academically Yours. I don't remember who the author is, but I'm reading the next book for the pod. Okay. On that note, follow us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a Patreon, so if you want to become a patron, we really appreciate it. Our website is up. Join our email list. That's how you'll hear of everything first. We do have some stuff coming up, some really exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. A couple projects that I'm working on. We do have a book box coming, and that will be it'll be shipping in January, but releasing in October. So stay tuned for more details. We'll probably do like a little bonus episode to go through more of that. And that'll be announced on our Instagram if you're interested. Otherwise, did I miss anything?
No.
Book recs. If you want to send us book recs, there is a submission form on our website and in our link in our bio on Instagram. Yeah, that's all I got. We'll be back in your ears next week.
Bye.